Hey guys, this is Pat Reelman, one of the Team Boom founding coaches. And I got a little graph here kind of showing how this is basically just my team bonus that I get. And the numbers on the left here, that's the weekly dollar amount that I receive for my team bonus. That on the bottom there, that's the first 2 years that I was a coach. And then I'm going to show you another graph that shows the last 3 years that I've been a coach. But before we jump into that, there's really two main ways that you earn as a coach. The first way is retail commission, selling products to customers, which I really don't focus too much on. The second way is building a team of coaches. And for me, it's a lot more fun to invite people to join a free Facebook challenge group just for that free support on Facebook. And then look for people in that group that really stand out, people that are really positive and encouraging the other members, people that are kind of already doing what we do as coaches. And then I just reach out to those people and see if the coaching opportunity would be a good fit for them. And for me, that's a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun to empower others to become coaches, help them start a home-based business around fitness and nutrition. That's more fun than selling products, for me at least. And it's more financially rewarding, which is great too. So before we jump into this graph, in 2008, August 2008 is when I first signed up as a coach. And I sent out a message to all my friends on Facebook back then, and it was this huge, long message. I had no clue what the heck I was doing as a coach, and I think everybody that saw that message probably didn't even read it because it was too long and deleted it, or read it and was like, what the heck is this kid talking about? I really just didn't know what I was doing, and nobody wanted to sign up as a coach. So I was basically devastated, kind of. I just gave up on coaching. But before that, before I totally gave up on it, my mom was the only one that signed up as a coach, which is amazing. And then I signed up my sister, and I paid $45 a month for vitamins just to keep her active. And I did that because now I had two coaches. And those two coaches made me an Emerald coach and made me eligible to receive customers from Beachbody, from their customer lead program. And once I hit Emerald, which is like the first week I signed up basically, then like I said, I got kind of discouraged, and I basically gave up on the coaching opportunity for about 16 months, about a year and a half, from August 2008 until January 2010. And you can see that the graph picks up here, and I was making no money really at the beginning, or at the end of 2008. I was making maybe $10 to $15 a week at the beginning of 2009, and it was going up and down because I had a couple coaches that the coaches above me had placed below me. And then in 2010 is when really you can see where things took off. So like I said, I did nothing in 2009. I was not consistent with anything. 2010, I went to my first live event. And a couple of my friends, my coach that signed me up, Dave Spinaccio, and his coach, Joe Petrie, were coming to Boston for a live Beachbody event. And I lived in Boston at the time, and the event was literally a mile from where I lived, and they were driving, 6, 7 hours to come to this thing, and I kind of felt bad. I was on the fence about going, but they were going to be there. I hadn't seen them in a while. I thought it'd be cool to meet up with them. And when I went to that event, I wasn't really expecting much as far as the business side of it, but it really lit a fire under me. I met some amazing people. I saw some amazing presentations and trainings that made me think this is really something that I really think I would love to do and be more involved with. And I started to kind of get a passion for it. And you can see when I left that event, in the first 3 months after the event, from January up to like April, my income doubled or more than doubled in 3 months because I was just very consistent with inviting. I was inviting people to look at the coaching opportunity. I was inviting people to look at the products. And then from there, in April 2010, I decided I was going to fly across the country to LA to go to my first coach summit, which is the annual event that Beachbody puts on for all their coaches. And Joe Petrie and Dave Spinacci were going to go, and I booked a ticket and flew over there alone. And I got to that event, and again, that event had so much energy. The people that were there that I met were amazing. They had created amazing lives for themselves, amazing incomes, had inspired so many people, and I just wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to do what they had done, and so I came back from that summit even more fired up. And you can see again, my income, doubled or tripled in, another, 3, 4, 5 months. And this graph here, this line here is just team bonus. So, there's other ways, like I talked about, retail commission, that I was making, week to week. But this is just based on my team volume. So the team volume is really just the coaches that are on your team, what they're doing, what their personal sales are, the coaches that they're signing up, their personal orders. That's all what comes into your team volume, and your team bonus is based on your team volume. So you can see that this really started to take off as I got more excited and got some coaches on the team. And this is about the time that Joe Policino hopped on board as one of my first coaches and really started blowing up the business. So you can kind of see how this trend took off here. At the end of 2010, you can see it starts to level off. And that's because when you go to these events, you come back fired up. And that excitement is going to wear off. It always wears off, which is why it's so important to get to these events consistently. Every time I go to an event, my business just explodes because I come back so fired up and I'm consistent again. The things that I do with this business and the things I teach my new coaches are not rocket science. They are simple. I could teach anybody to do what I do. It's just a matter of being consistent with them. And you're not going to be consistent with something that you don't really believe in, that you can't really see. And when you go to these events, you become consistent with those little things that anybody can do because you believe, because you see that other people have done it. You meet them, they're real people. And you go, why, if they can do it, why the heck can't I? And that's why it's so important to get to these events. I know I bug you guys all the time about getting to events, but I do it for a reason. I know what happens to my business. I know what happens to the coaches on my team's businesses when they get to these events, which is why I stress it so much. So you can kind of see here where it starts to level off when that excitement started to wear off. And I'm going to show you the last 3 years of my coaching business. So again, on the left, we got the weekly income that I'm bringing in just from the team bonus. This doesn't include retail commission or anything like that. It's just the team bonus. So you can see here, just this picks up right where the last graph left off. I was making about maybe $200 a week, going into 2011, which was great because I had laid on an awesome foundation in 2010, and good things were happening. But like I said, the excitement wore off. I went to no events in 2011. I couldn't go to Summit because one of my friends was getting married that weekend, and I just really wasn't consistent with anything. I wasn't doing anything in 2011. My business just kind of plateaued. And not that I'm complaining about $200 a week. It's awesome, but I knew that I wanted to grow this business. I knew that I had seen these other coaches that had done it, and I knew that I could do the same thing. But I just didn't do anything, and that's just on me. So I kind of just went along, didn't do much 2011. 2012 comes around, and I start, committing to creating a free Facebook group, a free challenge group that I'm going to invite people to, and I'm not going to get discouraged about, signing coaches or making money. I'm just going to see what happens. I'm going to commit to 6 months starting beginning of 2012, inviting people to join a free group. And so I do that, and you can see 2012, I didn't make a ton of money, I was making good money, but I didn't have any growth in 2012. But I was inviting people to my free group, and I was not getting discouraged that my business wasn't growing because I knew it would take time. I knew I had to be patient. I knew I had to lay that foundation with my free customers and my free Facebook group. So I continued to do that. End of 2012, I went to my first leadership event out in California, and I met some amazing coaches at this event. The trainings were awesome, but really it was talking to these top coaches that had created these six-figure incomes, over a beer at these happy hours. And I really started to realize that, these people aren't very different than I am. They're not superheroes. They're not, I kind of had them on this pedestal. I thought that these people were, these amazing people that couldn't do anything. They could, I couldn't do what they did. And they were amazing people, but they weren't doing anything amazing. They were just being consistent with inviting and following up. And I knew that's something that, I could do. And I knew that I wanted to have what they had. And I said, if they can do it, why the heck can't I? And so when I came back from that event, I really started to kick it up a notch. The other thing I learned at that event was how to introduce somebody to the coaching opportunity. And that's, the customer to coach conversion that I really teach my new coaches on Team Boom. How to introduce somebody to the coaching opportunity. How to first, the people in your free challenge groups, how to ask them to be a co-leader so that it helps you see who the people in your group are that you want to introduce to the coaching opportunity, and then how to introduce them to the coaching opportunity. And that's something that we teach on Team Boom every time we get a new coach. And it's something that our coaches feel very comfortable with right off the bat. So from there, I come back from that event, and going into 2013, I'm very comfortable with how to introduce somebody to the coaching opportunity. I'm still doing my invites. I'm still consistent with following up with people, but now I'm starting to ask people in my group that are standouts to take a look at the coaching opportunity. And, a few of them sign up, but not a ton in the beginning of 2013. But one after another, more and more of them decided to become coaches. They got more involved. They started inviting people to the group. Then their people decided to become coaches. And then Summit comes along, 2013. And you can see this huge spike right here in July 2013. That's because I really pushed hard to get as many Team Boom coaches to Summit as I could, and we got about 25 coaches there. And we came out of that Summit just on fire. T25 came out, Vanilla Shakeology came out, and we had seen so many amazing presentations and met so many amazing coaches that had done awesome things with this business that we came back fired up to do the same. And you can see a huge spike there, and you can see that that this business continued, my team volume continued to grow, and my team bonus continued to grow through 2013. And in August 2013, I was able to quit my full-time job, replace my full-time income, and become a full-time coach, which is amazing because it doesn't even really feel like a job. It's more of just something that I enjoy doing and get paid well for it. So then in September 2013, I go to my second leadership event out in California, and this time I get to bring my mom, my dad, both my sisters, and we come back from that with this new concept called Coach Basics. And my mom took ownership of this. She really just took the reins on it and created a training program for our Team Boom coaches that really is focused on what we do on Team Boom. Because what we do on Team Boom is a little bit different than what other teams in Beachbody do. And so now, our coaches that I bring in, my new coach that I bring in, and I teach them and I mentor them, and I get them to the point where they're able to teach their coaches. But also, this new Coach Basics program that my mom created took a lot of pressure off of me and a lot of pressure off of my coaches to train and mentor the new coaches coming in, because we were able to plug our new coaches into this new Coach Basics program we had that did a lot of the training for us. And it got our new coaches very confident in inviting, in following up, in how to introduce somebody to the coaching opportunity. And that's really when my business in the beginning of 2014 has just gone berserk. And, this past week, I made $3,000 just from the team cycle bonus alone. In 1 week, I still, honestly, it's just not real to me. I've never made anything close to that in my life. But I hope that's it, guys. I hope this helps. Honestly, it comes down to consistency. I always say that. I'm very consistent about, telling you to be consistent. But you're not going to be consistent with something unless you believe that it's going to get you somewhere. And for me, I didn't believe that the invites and the follow-ups were going to get me anywhere until I went to the events, until I got to those things and met these people and went to the trainings. All of a sudden, now it was real for me. And I just wanted to read one last thing before I end this thing in a couple seconds here. So I'm going to try to get to my website that I got, teamboomfitness.com. And this last thing I wrote here says, this is something I pulled from somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where, but it just says, you won't give your best to something you don't understand. You won't stay on course for something you cannot see. You won't become motivated by something you kind of sort of believe in. But once you have that belief, you better hop on the Team Boom train and buckle up, because you're in for the ride of your life. And that belief is going to come from the events. So that belief is what's going to keep you consistent with those daily, mundane, unsexy things like the invites and follow-ups. So I hope that helps, guys. I'll talk to you.